Hello everybody, I'm Debs and thank you so much for joining us for today's special craft session for Refugee Week 2020. So the theme this year is Imagine, and I've been inspired by the Giant Dolls House project, which is a fantastic collaborative arts project where people are invited to make their very own shoebox home or doll's house. Now, I didn't have a shoebox. So we can choose any cardboard box that we might have around, and then we can use our imaginations. So I'm going to show you what I've started on. And a lot of us have been spending a lot of time at home recently, and maybe not seeing our friends and family as much as we'd like to. So it's a good time to reflect on Refugee Week, where people may have been forced to leave their homes, and even their friends and family sometimes. So in this project, we're going to think about what home means to us and what makes us feel at home. So we're all going to have different ones, but that's going to be the great thing about it. So the box I had was actually a bird feeder box. So you can find any box that you have lying around and other bits and bobs from the house, and you really just need a lot of imagination. So if you can see here, I've drawn on the outside of my box some windows and a door and some flowers along here, because I like having flowers around my home. And then I've started to decorate. So what I've got here is I've made a little bed out of a cardboard box. So a lot of the fun in this as well is looking around the house and seeing what you can find that you might be able to turn into something for your little room. So this was, I think, I had a box of plasters, and that was the box for that was empty. And I've put a little bit of brown paper around it to make it into a bed. And I put some paper on the back so you could have wallpaper, you could even decorate your own wallpaper. I've gone for a nice light purpley kind of colour because I like a nice bright room. And then I've got a window here, and I've made some little curtains out of felt that I had around the house. Now if you don't have that, you could use paper, you could even draw them on. And I've put up as well some little shelves, which are just two pieces of cardboard that I folded over and stuck on. Now, that room's looking a little bit bare, I think. So what else can we have to decorate it? Well, what I had was, I had some more scraps of fabric around. So I've made a little blanket, because being at home to me means being nice and cozy and warm. And I've made a little pillow, which I've sewed together. It doesn't matter if you can't sew, you could find just a little pillow, or I've put some cotton wool in here. You could use something else. And there we go, there's my little bed. Now, the other thing I found was I was looking in the recycling, and there was an oil bottle, an empty bottle, and this was the cork. And to me, that looked just right for a table for my house. So there we go. We've got a little table there. And I also made, out of a little piece of felt I had around, a little rug to make it nice and cozy. So I'm going to pop that under the table. And you could even stick some of these things down, because you can see that's a little bit wobbly. So the other thing I really like, and you might be able to see behind me, I'm going to pop that down here for a second, is books. Well, I work in a library, so I think a lot of us like books. So for me to feel at home, I like to have a lot of books. So the first thing I've made was a bookshelf. And this is just a piece of cardboard folded over at the sides, and then I've made 3 little shelves and just stuck them in. So it's just pieces of cardboard, and I've drawn some lines at the back so it looks like it's made of wood. And I'm going to try to make some books for my bookshelf. So what I've done is I've got a piece like the shelf, exactly the same, but I'm going to put it sideways. And I'm going to draw, instead of making all the books individually, which you could do if you were making books, I'm going to use my colouring pencils to make it look like books. So I'm going to put my screen down like this. Can you see? I'll move it over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pen or a pencil and just draw some lines down it here. And they can be different sizes because books are all different sizes. So I'm going to go like that. And then I think I'll even colour them in some different colours. So there's an orange, and I'm going to make this one green. And again, maybe you wouldn't have books in your house. Maybe you would have a radio, or you might have your iPad, or whatever makes you feel at home. You might have music. I'd really like some music in my room as well. I might have to make a record player later. Or is it people that make you feel at home? You could even make some little people for your room. I think I'd like to have a picture of my family in my room. That would make me feel at home. So here we go, colouring those in to make them all look different. And then I think I'll do some little writing across here as if it's the name of the book. So I've made some little books going across there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them, oops a daisy, and as well, because these things are so small, they might be a little bit fiddly, but you can do it your own way. You could even make it a little bit bigger if you wanted to. Now there we go. So I've got some books on my bookshelf now. I feel a bit better about that. That's more homely to me. And I'm going to put my bookcase here at the bottom of my bed, and then I can look in my bed and see what book I want to read in the evening. Oops, a daisy. They've sort of pushed back a little bit in there. Now, the other thing I made, as I said, I really like to have plants in my house and outside my house, and I don't have a garden at the moment, and maybe some of you don't have a garden as well. So I like to have, you can see behind me, some pot plants, and then I can look after them, and you know, they help to clean the air, and it's just nice to have them around. It makes me feel happier. So maybe you like to have plants around as well. So I thought I'd make myself a little miniature plant. And all I've done here is I've taken some coloured card, just a little bit, and I rolled it around the end of a pencil. I folded it over first a little bit, because the plant pot has the little rim around it, which is usually a little bit bigger, and then I just stuck it together, and then I put a little bit of blue tack or something sticky inside, and a tiny little bit of a plant, and that was actually the herb thyme. So if you have any of that around, that makes quite a good miniature plant. Now I'm going to put that, I think I put it on one of my shelves, and I've put a little bit of sticky tape on the bottom so it'll stay. Now you can see my room's starting to look a bit better now. I think I've got my bookshelf, I've got my, whoops, my plant which has fallen over. And that's the thing, it is quite fiddly, some of these bits and bobs, but it's good fun. And if you go to the Giant Doll's House Project Facebook or Twitter, you can see all the beautiful shoebox houses that other people have made and maybe get some inspiration from them as well. Now, so I think I'm almost finished. I'm going to, oh yes, I also made, because I really like to write and draw, so the one thing I always have to have in my home is a notebook and pen or pencils. So I've made myself a little notebook. And all I've done here is I've taken a piece of cardboard, so you can see most of these things are just cardboard and paper. And I folded over some paper, oops a daisy, I've lost a page, and I put them inside and just stuck them in with a tiny little bit of sellotape. And that's my notebook there. So that's for my ideas. I'll put that on my bed, I think. So I've got my table, I've got my books, and my notebook, and my wobbly table. And I think this table needs to be stuck down. Whoops a daisy. I'm going to stick that down in a minute. So as you can see, I've decorated my house, and I think I might even make a little picture of my family to complete it. But obviously all of yours will be different, and you can post them on the Giant Dolls House website, and I would love to see them if you can post them on the library's page as well. So thank you so much for joining me. There are so many more things you could make. This is just an idea, and your imagination is really key. So we have lots of Refugee Week activities happening. We've got some story times on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday this week. We've got today's craft session, which I hope you're all joining in with, and we have the flash fiction competition, which you can enter. It's a 50-word maximum, and it's open to children and adults. So if you go to the library's homepage, you can find out details about that. Thank you so much for joining me for my Refugee Week making your own home, my little plant. And I hope you have a lovely week, and you'll join us again for more craft sessions. Thank you. Bye.